Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Khmer Times Cross Talk. Today in our studio we have the honor with us today. We have Ambassador of Indonesia to Cambodia, Dr. Santo Darmosumarto. Yes. Thank you, Ambassador, for joining us
today. Thank you for inviting me. I'm very, very pleased to be here.
It's our honor to have you here. I think I'm glad to be the first one to talk to you when you arrived in Cambodia. Yeah?
Yes, indeed. I remember a few months ago you were the first one to interview.
But
thank you.
You are on my talk show, so there are more we have more to talk.
I'm going up the ladder here.
Yeah. So you arrived here, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's just like 2 or 3 months ago.
Yes.
How has it been for you so far?
It's been fantastic.
How has it been living in Cambodia?
It's been fantastic. I would have to say it's beyond my expectation.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, I came to Cambodia about 11 years ago or 12 years ago. 12 years ago, I came to Cambodia and I had that expectation when I was coming here. But of course, when I came here, a lot of development has happened in a decade or so. And then I'm very pleased to know that even though there's a lot of modernity happening here in the country, but the people have remained the same. And I'm very pleased that my family and I have been able to settle in very well, and my kids are going to school here as well. And so that has been very comforting and allowing me the opportunity to focus on my work as well. And with work as well, I've had the opportunity to meet with officials here, with the diplomatic corps, with businesses here as well. So I'm up and running right now, and hopefully in 2024 I will be able to even further step up our efforts in strengthening cooperation between Indonesia and Cambodia.
How about food? I must say,
yes.
You adapt to the food here?
Yes, I have adapted very well to the food here. I've actually there's a number of very good Cambodian restaurants that I frequent to in Phnom Penh. I've taken a liking to a number of dishes here, for example, like with the fish amok and the samro kokor, the fish cakes as well. So it's a delicacy that I'm enjoying, because I don't particularly like hot food. Indonesians eat a lot of hot food, but Cambodians not too hot, so I think it actually fits better with my taste buds.
We talk more about it. Our viewers gonna be joining our conversation about food. So getting back to the diplomacy here.
Yes.
I heard recently. I read recently that you just had a meeting with our Prime Minister.
Yes.
Dr. Hun Manet.
Yes.
Can you tell us about that? How was the meeting?
It was a fantastic meeting. I had the opportunity, after waiting for a while, to have this opportunity to meet with His Excellency the Prime Minister. Fortunately, in the first week of January, I had the opportunity to meet with him. It was a long meeting. I think he went for 1 hour, and we talked about a lot of issues. But it seems I felt very, very warm knowing that His Excellency the Prime Minister knows about Indonesia.
Mm-hmm.
He actually cares deeply about the relationship between Indonesia and Cambodia, and I believe that he also shares the notion of friendship with the leaders of Indonesia, including, for example, our President Joko Widodo. So during the conversation, we talked about the state of relationship that we have at the moment, the potential that we have, but at the same time, we're recognizing that there is a lot of potential that needs to be implemented.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this year, as we celebrate the 65th anniversary of Indonesia-Cambodia diplomatic relations, we are hoping that we could push for an elevation of our diplomatic relations to a new level of cooperation. That's the commitment that I have with His Excellency, and I hope to be able to deliver on that commitment throughout the year. Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, you are almost the same age range with our Prime Minister, right?
Yes, I think he's slightly younger, and he's more handsome, of course.
So what is your how do you find about our young leader?
Oh no, he is somebody who I think cannot be judged by his age. I think he is somebody who has actually gone up the ranks, both in the military, in a party, as well as in government. So he has a clear vision of where he wants to take this country. And I felt that when I was talking to him, he knew exactly what he wanted to do. He knew exactly how Indonesia would play in with regards to how the economic development of Cambodia is. So I believe that in spite of his age, he is very much somebody to look up to, and somebody who we could trust to lead Cambodia into the new as it enters a new era of leadership here. And so I'm looking forward to working with His Excellency the Prime Minister. I'm looking forward to working with his team, whom many I've already had an opportunity to meet as well, and with his pentagonal strategy, as well as the backing of a very solid team, a cabinet. I believe that there's a lot of work that we can do for the cooperation between Indonesia and Cambodia. Yes.
I remember the first time I met you at the Indonesian embassy. You mentioned your strong desire to bring the bilateral ties between Cambodia and Indonesia to the next level.
Yes.
65 years. That's like more than half a century.
More.
But you mentioned that it's still like it's some kind of ceiling, to our ties.
Yeah.
And you of course you mentioned wanting to bring up to improve the economic and trade relation between the two Southeast Asian countries.
Yeah.
So how you start doing that?
Oh, I think first and foremost, even though I've been to this country a couple of times before coming here this last year, there's a lot of things that I didn't know about Cambodia. So the first and most important thing for me to do is to learn more about Cambodia. So I've tried to do as much traveling as possible. I've visited a number of places in Cambodia. I visited Poipet and Sihanoukville, where there's large concentrations of Indonesian people there. I've visited Siem Reap more than 3 times already. I've visited Battambang as well, which is one of the hearts of the Cambodian economy and the rice bowl of Cambodia. So trying to learn what are some of the things that is possible when it comes to strengthening the cooperation between Indonesia and Cambodia in the field of economic cooperation. And I believe that I remain true to my perspective before, that there is a lot of potential that has yet to be realized between the two countries, be it in the field of agriculture, in the field of manufacturing, and various other fields as well, energy as well, renewable energy, and other types of cooperation, tourism as well. So this is what I hope to do, and this year, in 2024, there are a number of activities that we have planned that is targeted towards further escalating the trade cooperation, the economic cooperation, investment as well between Indonesia and Cambodia. Last year, finally, Indonesia managed to become the number 6 trading partner of Cambodia. Very happy about that, but it was still number 6. Hopefully we'll get to number 5, and hopefully we'll be able to realize more and benefit not only the business communities of two countries, but also the people in general from two countries.
I almost forgot. Congratulations on last year, your country last year chair of ASEAN. I almost forgot that. It was amazing. It was in Jakarta.
Yes.
It is a lot of things many things have been discussed at the summit and other related meetings. From our perspective here, of course your goal is to, like, as a chief envoy here, you want to, as an Indonesian chief envoy here, you want to improve the ties between the two countries. But you can see, like, you have the opportunities. You saw the opportunities, but how about challenges?
Challenges bilaterally or in the region particular?
Let's start with Cambodia and Indonesia.
Of course there are challenges, and I think the more two countries become more, the relationship goes up. Of course, we also reveal that the challenges are there. And of course, with regards to Indonesia, Cambodia, the biggest challenge, I think, is the lack of knowledge of one another. Cambodians know Indonesia, but Cambodians know Indonesia as if it's part of its history. Cambodians remember Indonesia during the 1990s with the peace process, the Jakarta informal meeting. the Indonesian peacekeepers in Antak. That's what Cambodians know of Indonesia.
Yeah.
And of course, we're very happy that that is being held dearly by the Cambodian people. But now, 30 years later, the relationship is at a different level, and we are demanded to pursue a strengthening of cooperation in other areas of cooperation, for example, in economics, in education, in people to people. So what I want to do in commemorating 65 years of diplomatic relations is to ensure that such historical ties, such sweet memories of our historical cooperation can be translated into concrete economic cooperation in the modern times as well. So this is what we have to do. And also the same thing, I'm not only saying this about Cambodians, but I'm also saying it about Indonesians, because Indonesians don't know about Cambodia. I would talk to my colleagues in Indonesia and say, look at this potential, and they say, well, we didn't know about this. We didn't know that Cambodian rice is so good. The things like this, are some of the things that need to be exposed to a lot of Indonesian businesses, Indonesian communities, and Indonesian youth as well. Yeah.
What do you think having this attitude to this barrier? Why we are like in one region.
Yeah.
Well, we have one is mainland,
Yeah.
another one in maritime.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Why
I think because both our countries have been looking at, like for example, Indonesia, in our efforts to strengthen our economic cooperation or our economic capacity, we've looked to countries like, for example, Japan, South Korea, China, European countries. At the same time, Cambodia has been doing the same thing as well. So we've been looking at one way, but we haven't been looking at each other. So I think this is when we have to start to strengthen the cooperation among ASEAN countries. This is where we have to talk about the strengthening of not only the people-to-people contacts among ASEAN countries, but also other elements of cooperation, in particular the economic cooperation. As we know, statistics always said that there is more trade happening between ASEAN and its dialogue partners compared to within ASEAN. So I think this needs to change, and I think there is an effort to want to change that. Now, when I spoke to His Excellency the Prime Minister, there was one of the things that he raised. He said there is a significant significance for us to somehow enhance intra-ASEAN cooperation, and so hopefully with that vision in mind, I could work with colleagues in Indonesia and also colleagues here in Cambodia to somehow further strengthen the Indonesia-Cambodia partnership within the context of ASEAN cooperation or ASEAN community.
Speaking of people to people, I mean, like, everything is impossible without like the people talking to the other people first. Actually, I have been to Indonesia and I saw many similar, many
of course,
similar.
You look like an Indonesian.
You look Cambodian as well. Batik, we have batik, we have Khmer, you have Banon Budu, and you have Uncle Bayon. You have like the shadow puppet. Also have the shadow puppet. So very similar, you know. And many Cambodian students actually have gone to Indonesia to study in university. I mean, the Republic of Indonesia provide Cambodia with scholarships every year. So how can you take advantage of this, to put it into your desire?
I think the underlying foundation of cooperation between our two countries are very solid. The history, the people contact is there, but how do we translate it into a win-win concrete cooperation, particularly in the economic field? Because there are calculations that needs to be met. How would businesses profit in Cambodia? How would Cambodian businesses profit by having cooperation with Indonesia instead of, for example, another country? Now, these are some of the things that we have to work, because not only we have strong historical relationship, but how to ensure that the cooperation actually translates into win-win conditions for the two communities, be it the business communities or the students or the various other communities that exist in the two countries. However,
In Cambodia, there are like 60 million population. So the population is 60 million. So Jakarta alone is 22 million.
Yes.
You say
that is one of the challenges for me. Yeah, that's exactly one of the biggest challenges for me, trying to entice Indonesian businesses to interact more in Cambodia. But I've been telling my colleagues in Indonesia as well that do not look at Cambodia only as Cambodia itself. Look at Cambodia as part of the region here, meaning that the quote unquote Indochina region, where Cambodia could be a hub for cooperation or a hub for Indonesia's cooperation with other countries here, including, for example, be it Thailand, Vietnam, Laos, and Myanmar. These are some of the access that Cambodia could provide. At the same time as well, we recognize that Cambodia has access to a lot of markets in Europe as well as in North America. These are some of the potentials that needs to be explored by Indonesian manufacturers, Indonesian investors, Indonesian businesses.
Yeah, I'm sure you have been in touch with the Indonesian Business Chamber.
Of course, yes.
Did you have like many Indonesian businessmen doing business?
We have. It was quite a surprise for me to know that there were quite a significant number of Indonesian businesses who have been plying their trade here in Cambodia. Some of them have been here for 20 years, some of them for 15 years as well. But at the same time, there are new Indonesian businesses who are seeing opportunities here. We are seeing new traders coming in and trading Indonesian products for Cambodian products as well. So there's a significant size of Indonesian business community here, and it's growing. And that's what's most important. If it's not growing, then it's stagnant. But if it's growing, more and more Indonesians are coming here to work here, then it's something that we would like to be able to see in the future. Yeah.
But when it's come to we call it bilateral
Yes.
relation, because it cannot be one-sided.
Yes.
You are doing your best, but at the same time, what do you think that I'm sure you talked to Prime Minister Hun Manet about this. What do you think the Cambodian government should do to contribute to this cause?
I think there's a lot of things that can be done. With regards to, for example, in the area of say, for example, agricultural cooperation, how to ensure that the investment climate in Cambodia becomes healthier, and there are significant efforts being carried out by the government in doing so. How to ensure stability and security in Cambodia remains as such. It's always a challenge for any country in Southeast Asia, and how that is maintained. That is also would be assuring for the Indonesian businesses as well. So as Cambodia goes up the rankings, but when it comes to ease of doing business or investment climate, then I think more and more Indonesians will see their opportunity. At the same time as well, how Cambodians are looking into businesses, doing business in Indonesia as well. Surprisingly, there are actually a number of Cambodians who do businesses in Indonesia.
But what you expect? You have the market, how many million?
Exactly, we have 270 million people. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
So
only 10% of that to use my product.
Yeah. Yes. So we are doing that, and hopefully we'll be able to strengthen that cooperation. I think there are a number of issues where Indonesia and Cambodia share challenges. One of them is trying to downstream our industries. In here, there's a tendency to sell your natural resources abroad. But I think the government is also trying to make an effort so that you actually raise the value of your products here, and that's what we've been trying to do in Indonesia as well. Maybe there's a lot of things that we could talk about on how we could increase the value of our products before it actually gets exported. Yes.
We talk about the trading and these things here, but I love to travel. I just give me the money, I will travel. Indonesia is just like a tourism hub. You have Bali, you have temple, you have islands. Cambodia is quite small compared to if it comes to territory.
But it's still a kingdom of wonder.
So, what do you think should be done to Cambodian visit Indonesia.
Yeah.
But how do you try to entice more Indonesia to visit Cambodia?
Yeah, I believe that yes, there needs efforts need to be done towards marketing and also introducing Cambodia to the international world. I think in Indonesia right now, news about Cambodia remains more dominated by stories of Cambodia's past, which is no longer the situation now.
Like Khmer Rouge and Angkor Wat.
Yes. So, well, Angkor Wat is nice, but the civil war that happened here, of course, doesn't really conjure positive pictures. But of course, people who live here, we know that how conditions have changed drastically since, just even 20 years ago. So I think this story about Cambodia needs to be exposed a bit more. Indonesia had that problem as well.
Yeah.
For the longest time, we had riots in the late 1990s, and we had difficulties. We had the Asian financial crisis, and to a lot of countries around the world, Indonesia was seen as a pariah state. A country which is in dire difficulty, and we had to fight that image. And I'm hoping that the Cambodian people and the Cambodian government will work together to somehow further enhance the image of Cambodia abroad. And the more it becomes more enhanced, the more it becomes more widely known about the situation now in Cambodia, I think more and more people will want to visit Cambodia and will want to feel that Cambodia is safe for traveling.
Yeah. Speaking of safety, I always want. Khmer Times has always the one investigating into this issue, the human trafficking. Unfortunately, yes, some Indonesian citizen has been involved in human trafficking in Cambodia. So for 2 years in a row, actually 2021 and 2022, the U.S. has placed Cambodia into Tier 3 when it comes to its, human trafficking report. At the same time, the Cambodian side try to rebut this. At least with Khmer Times, they talk to officials and they say the situation is not that bad. There are some case where there are the self-proclaimed victim, which who turn out to be illegal immigrants. You are here. You are the witness here. You are the eyewitness. You live here. Is it can you tell, is it Cambodia really? Is it really that bad for Cambodia?
I think talking about human trafficking, I think human trafficking is a transnational organized crime, in the sense that in order to counter human trafficking, in order to fight human trafficking, there needs to be cooperation among the countries involved. Human trafficking cannot be fought alone by a particular country, and in this sense it cannot be fought alone by Cambodia. So cooperation is very important, and Indonesia is ready to cooperate with Cambodia. And I believe that even ASEAN as a whole, we are ready to work together to overcome the problem of human trafficking. Now, of course, there have been some victims of human trafficking who are Indonesians here in Cambodia. At the same time, I would like to extend my appreciation towards the Cambodian government for its efforts in trying to overcome some of the challenges that are being faced by Indonesians who are caught in these human trafficking conditions, and some of them have been safely saved by the Cambodian government and repatriated back to Indonesia. And recently I had discussions with the Secretary General of the National Commission for Counter-Trafficking, Her Excellency Cho Bun Eng, and we agreed that there's a lot of room for cooperation there between Indonesia and Cambodia, and I applaud that particular Commission's effort to develop mechanisms to clearly identify who is a victim and who is not, in order for us to be able to see, how many of these people are actually truly victims of human trafficking, and how many of them are actually people who people who are in trouble, but not necessarily trouble that is human trafficking. That the trouble may be something else. So being able to distinguish the different types of challenges with regards to people moving across borders, then if we can improve on how to identify human trafficking or not, then hopefully we'll be able to address the issue in a more comprehensive way and like I said, we're ready to work
But
together.
for you, is Cambodia like a safe country?
Yes, of course. That's why I've been traveling in Cambodia. and well, I mean, Phnom Penh City, particularly in the area that I live in, is actually very safe. I go for walks and what have you in the evening, and all the other places as well that we've traveled to. It's relatively safe. In Jakarta as well, there are some places in Jakarta that you don't go, and after 12 o'clock. But I think that's just regular with being in any place around the world. That you have to be careful. In places where there's not a lot of crowd and stuff like that. Yeah.
So, last but not least, so what do you expect to see?
Yeah.
At the end of your tenure in Cambodia, let's say. I don't know how many years, but what is your objective? What is the objective that the objectives that you hope to achieve while being stationed here in Cambodia?
Yeah, these are the 4 objectives that I mentioned when I met with His Majesty the King. The same 4 objectives when I met with His Excellency the Prime Minister and all the other officials that I've met. The first, of course, is the elevation of Indonesia-Cambodia economic partnership. And when I mean by partnership, it's not only trade, but also more investment, both in Indonesia as well as in Cambodia, a cooperation in areas which are new, for example, like the green economy, green energy. This is what elevating to a new level of economic partnership means for me when it comes to Indonesia and Cambodia. The second is to get people to understand Indonesia not only because of the history books, but Indonesia today. Indonesia is a G20 country. Indonesia is the largest country in Southeast Asia, and Indonesia as a true partner for development here in Cambodia. That's number 2. And of course that I would have to engage more youth, young people, and very happy that the Prime Minister is also a young person, so it'll be easier for me to interact with the youth and bring them up to speed about where Indonesia-Cambodia relationship is.
Am I still considered a young person?
Yes, you are. The third would be to enhance facilitation and also a protection of Indonesians living in Cambodia. Every day we are seeing more and more Indonesians living here. So my embassy needs to work harder. But my embassy can only work with the cooperation of various agencies in the government of Cambodia. And we've been fortunate that we have had good cooperation with them. We'd like to maintain this cooperation as we see more and more Indonesians trying to benefit from living abroad and doing business here in Cambodia. Did you know that in Poipet there are at least 200 coffee shops that are manned by Indonesian people?
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So if you want to find good Indonesian food, you just have to go to Poipet.
Right.
So, and the fourth one, of course, is how Indonesia and Cambodia can be partners in strengthening the ASEAN community. This is very important.
Yeah.
Because somehow we have, as an island country and as part of the continental Southeast Asia, I think there's a lot of room for us to further strengthen our bilateral interactions to contribute more towards the ASEAN community, and also beyond that as well in the region. Yeah.
Thank you. I have other questions. Maybe until in the 6 months or something, I'm gonna keep up with you on the update.
Yes. Yes.
For now, I would like you to speak to our audience for 1 minute and speak out your mind. Yeah, please.
Well, I think to the audience out there, to all Cambodians, thank you very much for welcoming me and my family to Cambodia. Your welcoming has been what has made me comfortable living here in Cambodia. I'm committed to further strengthening the cooperation between Indonesia and Cambodia, but at the same time, my efforts can only be valuable if it's also strengthened by your efforts as well. So I need your help, I need your cooperation so that together we can further enhance our cooperation and make sure that in the next 65 years, the level of cooperation is at a different level between our two countries. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador Darmosumarto, for joining us today.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for being here.
Yes, it's one of the funnest interview I have.
A lot of laughing, yeah.
So that's it for today, and thank you for watching, and I will see you next week. For now, we are signing off, and goodbye.
Goodbye. អរគុណខ្លាំង